So it's March 27th, 2025. And you know what's really like kind of taken over the global conversation right now? The 2025 World Health Summit. Like it's everywhere right now.
For sure.
And Bill Gates, he just gave this keynote on AI and healthcare. And the buzz around that is pretty intense.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. So for our deep dive today, we're going to sort of rewind a little bit. We're going to look at Bill Gates's book, The Road to Zero: How to End AIDS by 2030.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And we're going to try to kind of connect the dots between some of the really innovative ideas in that book and what people are talking about as like the most cutting edge stuff happening at the summit right now.
Yeah, that's a really smart way to approach this.
Yeah.
Because it provides, that crucial historical context for all these advancements we're seeing today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So think of this as your like insider's look at this huge global health challenge. And we're going to get into this world of tech and all these solutions that are like unfolding right now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited to dive into this.
Yeah, me too. So, the core principles from The Road to Zero, and this is kind of interesting, even though it came out before all this summit stuff, it actually gives us a really good, basic understanding for all of these approaches that people are championing at the summit today.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, so it really shows you that this whole like search for these really impactful innovations in global health, like it's been going on for a while. It's been a driving force.
It's been a constant, that's for sure.
Exactly. So the road to zero, right? I mean, the title kind of gives it away, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It lays out this pretty concrete vision for how the world could actually, end the AIDS epidemic by 2030.
That's a bold vision for sure.
Yeah, right. It is. And it's not just like some, overly optimistic outlook. Gates gets into like really specific strategies.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, he really believes that these are the essential things we need to be doing.
I'd be curious to know what some of those are.
Yeah, so we're talking about things like really smart AI tools, like AI-powered tools for diagnosing infections way earlier and way more accurately than we can now.
That makes sense.
And making sure that treatments, like life-saving treatments, are available to anyone who needs them, no matter where they live.
Oh, that's huge, yeah.
Right. And getting countries and organizations, everyone to work together on this global level.
Oh, that's so important.
Yeah, and it's interesting because when you think about those core pillars, better diagnostics, wider access, and stronger collaboration, those aren't just relevant to AIDS, right?
You're absolutely right.
They're relevant to like almost every major global health challenge you can think of.
Yeah, that's the key takeaway there for sure.
Totally, yeah. And the book goes even further. It actually paints a picture of what success could actually look like.
Wow.
So there's this one example that really stood out to me. It was this idea that we could actually achieve a 60% reduction in HIV transmission in sub-Saharan Africa.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, right. Like through targeted and innovative intervention.
Yeah.
That's a massive shift.
Absolutely.
And what's so central to all this is this idea that technology can make these health solutions way more impactful.
Right.
So they reach more people, way more efficiently.
Like they can scale up the solutions.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's crucial. Yeah.
It's not just about traditional, local health initiatives. It's about how technology can give us this power to scale things up and be more precise.
Yeah.
To actually create like transformative change on this, global level.
Totally. Yeah.
So there are a couple of chapters in the book that really highlight this. So there's one called AI as a Game Changer. And in that section, Gates kind of, goes into how these advanced computer programs, like think of them learning from all this data, these huge data sets to find these hidden patterns.
Well, so they can predict outbreaks?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like predict when and where outbreaks might happen.
Right. Imagine being able to get ahead of it.
I know.
That would be amazing.
It would be a game changer, right?
Totally.
So that's one of the big ideas in the book. And then there's another chapter called Equity in Action. And this one looks at all these obstacles in the real world, right, that stop people from getting health care.
Oh, right. Like the barriers.
Yeah, exactly. So it could be, like just the distance to a clinic, right?
Yeah.
If you live really far away, it could be economic hardship. It could even be like the stigma, around certain illnesses.
Yeah, stigma's a huge factor.
Yeah, and it's really striking how much emphasis Gates puts on making healthcare fair and accessible in the book.
Oh, I bet.
And that really echoes what's happening at the 2025 World Health Summit. Like, this is one of their big focuses.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it also connects to this growing awareness that, things like climate change, they often hit vulnerable populations the hardest.
It's all interconnected, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And that connection between health equity and the environment, people are really recognizing how important that is.
Absolutely, yeah.
So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the bigger picture of tech and business.
Okay, yeah.
So all this focus on AI in healthcare at the summit, it's not just random. It's really reflecting this massive growth in health tech.
Oh, for sure.
Like it's exploding in 2025.
It's a huge market.
It is.
Yeah.
And experts are predicting that just the AI diagnostics part of that market, it's going to grow by like 30% every year.
Wow, 30%. That's incredible.
It is, right.
Yeah.
So what's really interesting here is that the road to zero, even though it came out a few years ago, it's like it predicted all of this.
Oh, it's almost like a roadmap, yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing how aligned it is with these real, fast-moving trends in tech and business.
Yeah, that shows you the power of a well-articulated vision, right?
Totally. And it makes you think, like, how can businesses take those ideas, from Gates' book and apply them to their own innovation?
Yeah, good question.
Like we've seen real world examples of this, right? We actually did a deep dive on some of Microsoft's AI partnerships in healthcare a while back.
Right.
And the potential there is huge. Like they estimate it could improve patient outcomes by something like 20%.
Wow, 20%. That's significant.
Yeah, right. So this shows you that these aren't just ideas in a book.
Right.
They're being put into action.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, and it highlights how, this drive to make a difference and the potential for businesses to innovate. Like they can really come together and create these meaningful advances in healthcare.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about Bill Gates himself, right?
Okay.
So his keynote at the summit, it wasn't just another presentation. He's become a really important voice in all of this.
Oh, for sure.
Like, where health and tech meet.
Yeah.
And it's not just talk, right? The Gates Foundation, they've reportedly invested something like $10 billion in AI-powered health initiatives.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, $10 billion.
That shows you they're serious.
Exactly right. And that kind of financial commitment, it shows that they really believe in this.
Yeah, for sure.
So what's really interesting is that Gates's initial focus in the road to zero was ending AIDS, right? But that actually lines up really well with all the broader global health priorities that we're seeing in 2025.
Oh, that's a good point.
Like climate change.
Right. Climate change is huge.
It is. And people are starting to understand that these challenges are all connected.
Absolutely.
Like climate change impacts health in so many ways, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It can change disease patterns, it can increase extreme weather events, and that disrupts healthcare access.
Right. It affects everything.
So using AI, the way that Gates describes it in the book and the way they're talking about it at the summit, that gives us these powerful tools to tackle these really complex and interconnected challenges.
It's like AI can connect all the dots.
Exactly, yeah. And it's not just the experts and the policymakers who are paying attention to all of this.
Okay.
Online, there's been a lot of buzz about Gates' speech.
I bet.
Like on platforms like X. And there's been a lot of positive feedback about this whole tech for good approach.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, like using technology to make a real difference.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
And that's important, right? Because it brings these issues to a much wider audience.
It gets people talking.
Totally. And it helps people understand.
For sure.
So let's kind of recap, bring it all together for you. We're here on March 27th, 2025. The World Health Summit is trending. It's the big thing.
Yeah.
AI in healthcare and this focus on health equity, those are the driving forces.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And what's really interesting is how the road to zero, even though it came out before all this, it gives us this really solid framework for understanding these priorities that are so central right now.
It's like a foundation.
It really is, yeah. So for you, the listener, this deep dive ties into some other stuff we've talked about. Remember when we talked about the impact of AI agents?
No.
Or when we looked at the IPL in 2025?
Yeah.
Like that whole cultural phenomenon?
That was a fun one.
Yeah, it was. So looking at the road to zero and how it connects to the World Health Summit, it gives us another way to see how technology is shaping our world in 2025.
And that's cool.
Especially how it can help us address these really important global health issues and even, find solutions for climate-related health problems.
Right, like we were saying before.
Exactly.
Cut it.
Yeah, and it shows that all these different fields like AI, technology, health, they're all kind of coming together.
They're converging.
Yeah, they are. And it's exciting because it means we might be able to create a healthier and more equitable world.
I hope so.
So as we wrap this up, here's something to think about. What actual steps do we need to take to make those possibilities in the road to zero a reality?
It's a big question.
It is, right. Like, how do we make sure everyone has access to healthcare, now and in the future?
Yeah, that's the challenge.
It is. And think about how AI and these global health initiatives, how they're all coming together and how that's going to shape the future that we all live in.
Yeah, it's an exciting time to be alive.
It really is.
That's for sure.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was great.
All right. See you next time.
Sounds good.